Hi, everybody. Episode 31 of Double Crossed Anime is the episode that we're doing today. I'm Wooper, and here's Mario.
Hello.
Today, we're doing episode 4 of a whole bunch of Fall 2018 seasonal shows. Those being Zombieland Saga, Run with the Wind, Irozuku, The World in Color, and also episode 3 of Karakuri Circus, or Karakuri Circus, excuse me, I gotta get my Japanese pronunciation in there. Also, we're coming up on the end of Lain. We're going to do episodes 9 and 10 today.
Excuse me.
So, oh yeah, you're excused. So 9 and 10 today, and then 11 to 13. We'll do the last 3 next week. Then after that, we will pick a new classic series to cover. We have a few in mind, so and they're all good ones, you know. So Mario and I will talk about it. We'll figure out which one, but
Yep.
got to get to the end of Lain first.
Sure. It's just
Where should we start?
It's just a matter of picking up a new classics. Just like picking up the name.
Yeah, I mean I think we've got 3 front runners.
That's right.
But we'll
All
keep it a
right.
secret for now.
Yep. Let's just keep them a secret. Would be a nice surprise.
Right.
How about Karakuri Circus?
To start?
Yep. To start.
Sure. I have very few notes for this show and one other.
Yeah. So how do you think in general about the third episodes?
I thought it was good. I thought it was pretty solid.
Yep.
And
a lot of actions.
yeah, a lot of action. You know, I must confess that I was hoping this show would like blow me away with Sakuga. You know, and it hasn't done that. Obviously, the main puppet, I forget its name. Starts with a T or something. You know, Shiragane's puppet. It's CG.
Oh, right. Yep.
And a lot of the other puppets are animated by hand. We get a lot of like anime close-ups and like movement disguising shots, the kind of stuff that anime is known for. So the battles aren't quite as cool, as dynamic as I'd like to see, but that's okay because I think the story is moving along at a nice clip, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah. The one thing that a bit bugged me is how the how they do the characters' expressions, the facial expressions. Sometimes they will make it like retarded. Make it like okay, they make it super extreme,
Yeah.
which I think it fit to the context.
You think it
But-
does or it does not fit?
It does, but it turned me off a bit.
You're mostly talking about the his uncle, right? Masaru's
that's-
uncle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm thinking about him.
I just started laughing whenever one of his like super freaky faces
Yeah.
showed up on screen. I mean, it is a little bit frightening, his design. So they accomplished that if that was their primary goal. But yeah, I mean, retarded. That's not a bad word to use to describe how he looks.
It's more like we into Ito Chunchi's kind of manga,
Right. Yeah, I actually thought about that as I was watching.
and the moment that this guy hit the boy, he returned to like his like normal face, and he become like less frightening.
Right. Yes. Even though he's like inflicting terrible physical violence on a child, he is he's less scary in that moment because
yeah.
he's got like a typical angry face, like and I'm obviously a villain face.
That's right.
Yeah. That was your main complaint so far.
That was my plain complaint. Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
How'd you feel about Masaru kind of transforming into like a more brave, more feral character near the end? Like he's described as having beast eyes.
Yeah,
at the very end.
I think that's a good development for him, because like for the last 2 episodes, he's more like a victim. Everyone had to protect him, so now he developed into like his own characters. I think that's a nice character rise of his characters.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I wasn't expecting it, honestly.
The the bit that like he fall down, like he jump into like like 4-story height
Right,
into
out the
like
window and into the forest.
into the face of the villain is a bit too
Yeah.
convenient.
Yeah, and I think that that might be enough to, like, I don't know, if not kill you, then probably put you into a coma or something, right? Like your
Yeah,
skull colliding with another person's skull after a 30-foot dive.
yeah, yeah.
That'd
But
probably be enough to kill you.
yeah, but he's a beast now, so like it
Right.
nothing. It doesn't matter to him much.
That's right, man. He gets a
But
super cool, like, vicious looking close up at the end.
yeah,
He can't be killed.
that's right. Or maybe that why he become like like a beast. The
Yeah.
shock.
Yeah. Like part of his brain, his personality was like rewritten or rewired
Yeah.
when that happened.
One other thing that I feel a bit like half and half for now is Shirogane, and she acted more human because of Narumi helping her.
Right.
I think that's a good bit of the development as well, but I think it's a bit too quick.
Yeah,
It's
it
a
did seem pretty fast.
Yeah, so like we don't really see about the cold Shiruane like we've seen for the last 2 episodes, but it's not that much. It's not so like when she changed into like more human because she considered herself as the puppet herself. It's a bit too abrupt.
Abrupt.
Yeah, for me.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean, and I kind of agree, but I think the show is just trying to push through this early arc and make its 3 main characters into like a little makeshift family real quick. And
Yep.
she's moving through that initial bit of her character's passage at the same rate that Masaru is.
Yep.
So I think that the show is at least keeping it consistent, even if it does feel kind of soon.
I agree. So I think like this act will be finished in the next episodes.
Yeah, you predicted that last time, and I said there's no way, but it looks like you're right.
Well, it's a bit quicker than I thought. Actually, I thought like it's gonna span out in the next like 3-4 episodes. But
Oh,
it turned
was
out
it
that,
was
like,
it actually me who thought it was only going to be 2 episodes?
Yeah, it's for you who thought that
okay.
it's gonna be quick.
Hooray!
So yeah, I wouldn't expect that like when they chat into the fortress, it was that quick. It was that like they was unstoppable.
Yeah,
Basically.
it kind of the same as in episode 2, where Shirogane's mastery of her puppet is just like leagues beyond the guy who challenges her, whose name I forget, the leader of like the murder team who wants to kill.
Yep.
I just completely lost my train of thought.
Uh,
I forgot what I was saying.
the pacing was so that the pacing is a bit quick. So now that we mentioned that.
Right, they just charge right into the mansion, the fortress, the whatever, past the gates. Yeah, I think it makes sense because in episode 2 she's so much more powerful than the leader of the murder team. In episode 3, once again, she just BTFOs everybody because her, she catches all those bombs and then throws them back with her.
That was really cool actually.
Yeah, it was. I really wish that's like one of the moments where I wish the Sakuga had come in a little more. Like I wish we had seen the puppet catch the balls. Although the way they directed it was, it's cool because there's that one that instantaneous reveal where you see that it's got all of them.
Yeah.
So that works too.
Yeah, because the way they show it makes me think that the puppet, the Shirogane and the puppet, they just trying to get away from the bomb, trying to dodge away from the bomb, but instead that he catches all the bomb.
Yep.
It make it the more impressive to me.
Yeah, and a lot more impressive as well.
Yep.
But then she falls for an obvious trap, and we get the whole thing with Narumi and her down in the underground cavern place.
And he was panting while she was remembering her memories.
Yeah, her backstory of having been trained by those 3 old women to become like a puppet who controls puppets and all that.
Yep.
Yeah, and he thinks to himself, "Oh, I'm panting, and there's a girl in my lap." Duh, duh, duh. But I mean, he's on the edge. He's on the verge of death. That's why. That's why he's doing that.
That's why, and the way he framed that doesn't make him, like that doesn't make him pervert. The way he framed that, like, I just feel sorry for him.
Well, yeah, I guess. I mean, I kind of feel as though there's some audience commentary bleeding into his character there. Like, there's a lot of perverts in anime because a lot of anime is made for teenage boys who are just discovering that part of themselves. But it's not something to get too like annoyed by. At least I don't think so. It was kind of strange, but it's fine.
All right. So, what do you think about the show so far after like the 3 episodes?
Just that it's like good, it's solid, and that I might not have a lot to say about it from week to week.
Yeah. So, from my impressions, that you was expecting a bit more from the show.
Yeah.
Like, production wise and even like story wise.
Yeah, I was, but I wouldn't say that I'm displeased with what we've gotten so far.
Okay, I agree because I think the show is pretty solid. Like, I enjoy most of it. For the part that I think stand out, I don't really can say much. So I think that's one of the show weakness for now. It doesn't have what it takes for it to be like a standout.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with that. I do think that its character designs and the puppet designs too are like pretty cool. I think the voice acting is pretty darn good. Those to me are the two standout elements.
I like the 3 main characters. I like the chemistry, and I like the way the show developed them for now.
Yeah, that's a pretty good thing to appreciate about a series is the main characters.
That's right. Like, I have a lot to appreciate about this show, but for the thing that you asked me if there is any special thing about that show, I can't really say for now.
Well, we are only like 8% of the way through the show.
Yeah, that's right. It's like 36 episodes.
Yep.
So
who knows if I kind of doubt that we'll cover it for like 9 months on this podcast.
No, I don't know. We don't know for sure.
There's actually 2 shows that are more than 1 core, because Run with the Wind is also 2 core.
Yep.
So I wonder if either of those will make it. So far, we haven't, in like almost a year of doing this, we have never had a show carry over. But I think there's a decent chance that one of the 2 will.
Yeah.
At the very least, the odds are doubled.
Yep. Because I think you like the other one better, right?
Oh, yes. Very much so.
We can get into that one now.
Okay. That one being Kazegatsuyoko Fuiteru.
Yep. Run with the Wind.
Yeah. So obviously I like this show a lot. How did you feel about episode 4?
It's still good. It's still solid. I still enjoy it, but it just all of the 4 episodes is like the preparations. So it's, for me, it's not what to say. It's just like they setting up. And for as far as setting up goes, it does a pretty good job.
Okay. I mean, I think it is doing a nice job of setting up the their eventual participation in that qualifier.
Yep,
and a kind of new checkpoint or hurdle was added in this episode. They have to run at that red-haired guy, whatever, Tokyo Sports University or something like that.
Yep.
There's going to be a track meet at the end of the month at that school, and they're going to run. The 10 main characters are going to run there because they need to have times on record before the qualifier. So right now it's like a three tier thing. First, there's going to be the track meet, then there's going to be the qualifier, then there's going to be the actual Hakone Ekiden. So kind of a new, like a new gate that they have to pass through has been added to the map. The show's map.
Is it that trap meet or qualifier though?
That's they have to go to the track meet because they need to have like times on record before they can get to the qualifier.
Oh, so they need to have like an official record or something.
Right. So
Yeah.
yeah, so the track meet that they're going to in the qualifier are not the same.
Mm-hmm. I got that. I got that. And maybe they gonna have like some small rule along the way as well. So we, yep. So after it goes, so next act, next episodes will be about the track meet in the school.
Probably. Although this show is taking it pretty slow. So I wouldn't
Yep.
be surprised
Right.
if we actually did not see the track meet in episode 5 because
Mm-hmm.
it does focus a lot on his characters.
All right. So there are two moments that I remember like very very well from these episodes.
Oh, I hope that one of them is the moment that I'm thinking of.
I'm sure you're thinking of that moment because like it's like two very big moments in these episodes. So one of them is about Kakeru. Like he hallucinating.
I wouldn't say he's hallucinating. I don't think he's actually seeing things. I think that's just meant to be a visual representation of the fact that he's carrying like these demons with him.
On the burden, hey.
Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, I like the visual of it. I like the way that the show get into his head by showing it, not
exactly.
by not by telling it. So I pretty appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yep. So I like the whole sequence from like from he proc from he played what is called Pikachu or something.
What?
Yeah, I don't know the game that he played that he lost all the monies.
Oh, pachinko.
Pachinko.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the
So
same game that what's her name? Ono-san. That Ono-san's butler.
yep.
It's the same
Yep.
game that he plays where he loses all his money.
That's right. That's the one. That's the one I'm thinking of as well. So he lost all the money of that. From that till he decided to like stealing,
Right.
shoplifting, and from those into like he meeting all the guys and even like to his like previous teammate, the red hair guys.
Yeah.
So like it's that older thing that like that have been he have been struggling in, and it show from his perspective now as well. It's not like from it just pretty good. Or I say
Yeah.
that I just love it.
Yeah, it's great because it's actual like it's anime actually
Mhm.
taking advantage of the fact that it's animated and
Yep.
using movement and
And visual.
visuals and music and tone, all of
Right.
it to do character work.
Hmm.
Like this episode portrays Kakeru as like extremely nervous and anxious and like plagued by self-doubt and self-hate
Hmm.
and like just you really don't get this kind of main character in anime very much. Usually the main characters are a little bit I don't know, they're not as well built
Yeah.
in the sense that not as much attention is paid to who they are in the present, who they are in the past, because they're meant for you to identify with them as the
Hmm.
audience. But this show I think rejects that idea. Kakeru and Haiji are both like extremely like character dense people in
Hmm.
this show. And they're at times I think they're difficult to relate to. But I also think that the show is doing a nice job of fleshing them out as they are and not as we feel they should be,
Hmm.
which I think is very rare and commendable as well.
And uh, I I lost my train of thought myself.
Sorry, I rubbed off on you.
No. Like when you were mentioning one of the things, I want to add up something.
Oh, what
That
that characters are just meant to be like identified with and inserted onto in anime?
not really something about Kakeru.
Okay.
Uh, All right, we can talk about something else, and I
Yeah.
think it might come back to me.
So you said there were two scenes that you really loved. That was the first one. What was the
Oh,
second one?
yeah. So that was the first one, and the second one is obviously is Prince's speech
Yes.
at the end.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah.
The I it just it's just like one of the scenes that they done really right, because he's the one who like who struggled the most physically, and he's the one
Yeah,
who
and
actually
emotionally too, I think, based on where that speech is coming from. Like it's coming from
right.
a place of like inferiority and other people having like rejected and mocked him in the
Yeah,
past.
and it provide his perspective into those things, and like after his speech, that's the only one time that I feel like I know what Haiji is doing. Like he want those exactly 10 people doing the run, not like everyone else, because he could do that easily. So like it sell the whole concept, the whole premise to me,
Ah, I see. Okay.
just by that speech. So yeah, so he does a pretty good job.
Huh. I didn't think about it that way. Like that being a reflection of Haiji's goal to bring out the like bring out passion and bring out I guess the character of
Yep,
these nine other guys.
that's right. Yep, but
But I suppose that is what happened in that scene.
mhm. So that all feel really great. That's all feel really right.
Yeah, for sure. I can't imagine another show, maybe even from this year,
Hmm.
pulling off a scene like that.
Yep.
Um, so I mean I think this show is like it's only 4 episodes, and like I hesitate to say this because I thought Review Starlight was gonna like
Yep.
be like one of the great anime of the decade or something when
Yep.
after the first like 2 or 3. Um, but I can't imagine this show not being in my top 10 for the year.
All right.
I
That's
think it's pretty much a lock. Like it doesn't have a lot of competition as far as character where it goes. Even like animation, I think this show's like it looks really nice, with one
all right.
exception.
I think you a bit a bit on top of yourself.
Is that
Hopefully.
right? Well, I mean,
Yeah.
you're probably gonna put a bunch of like crap in the top 10, like the Legend of the Galactic Heroes reboot and stuff.
Yeah, of course, of course. It's a crap. It's actually pretty good.
Uh, I mean, I've only seen 2 episodes, so,
All
but
right.
I've also seen 110 episodes of the OVA.
Yeah. Maybe that's why it changed a bit of your perspective.
Uh,
But
Maybe, but we can get into that later, like at the end of the year, I guess.
yeah, I remember what I was thinking
Oh,
about
about Kakadu.
earlier. Yeah, so Kakeru, one of his main problem is that he can't talk. He can express his feeling.
Yeah,
He just like
he's
have
anxious. He has social
yeah.
anxiety, I think.
That's right. He's have like all the feeling just bottled up inside him, and he can't let it out. So like for the last few minutes of the episodes, we will see like him just wanting to say it out loud, like in several occasions, but he couldn't. It's a bit get on my nerves actually. But when he actually does it make like it's mark the character development for him. So that also the good bit of the episode itself.
Right. And I mean, he doesn't say much.
He doesn't say much.
Uh, so when he does speak up, it grabs your attention.
Hmm. So yes,
Excuse me.
I like this. I like this show. I like what it shows so far. How you think about the girl? What's the name? Hannah Chan.
Hana-chan, yeah. I don't think very much about her. I think that
What do you think about her role in this series?
her role, I mean, I think her role honestly is to be sort of a manager character, like
Will she
to have a female representative in the cast.
All right? Will she be a love interest of like either the
For
two
for
one or two
Kakadu,
or
perhaps,
HGs?
because they do have like a little meet cute,
Mm-hmm.
where she's like walking down the street and he's running, and then he bumps into her and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So I could see her being a love interest for him, and I think I'd be okay with it. But she just doesn't feel. It doesn't feel as though there's a lot of substance to her character just yet.
Yep. That's one other thing that I like about this show as well, because like all the anime show that we like we watch normally, they will make that clash between them when someone run into the girl. We will have like boop grabbing. We will have like
Oh yeah, well this
the
show's definitely not that kind of show.
yeah. This one they just make it off screen,
Right,
which
and
I'm
then you come
pretty
back from the
glad.
commercial break.
Yeah, right.
She's like washing off her knee or something.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, this
So
dude, can you imagine what a person like Kakeru would do if he? It would be like Shinji. I don't.
Oh,
You've
yeah?
you've only seen like 3 episodes of Ava, right?
yeah, but I can see the connection. Yes.
There's a boob grabbing, an accidental boob grab
Is
in
it?
Ava. Yeah, like shortly after where you stopped watching.
Oh.
And the way Shinji reacts is like, that's if you
How?
if you don't catch it in the first few episodes of Ava, the way he reacts to accidentally groping Ray's chest, and I think
Yeah.
episode 5 is a clear indicator of what kind of show it is.
Huh. And this is like one of the most influential anime of all time.
Yeah, and it's probably one of the most influential trip and fall and boob grab scenes of all time. Probably the most,
Oh.
honestly.
Maybe that was like the inspiration of like all the poop crapping for we have to see for the last 20 years.
Yeah, probably so, man.
Man,
I know, ruined
I-
anime forever.
I blame Eva for that.
Yeah, you can't blame it until you watch it.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, I really plan to watch it someday soon, very soon.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good time.
Between that one or Planet Test.
Oh, I mean Ava for sure, but Planetes
And-
based on my memory is also very good.
Yep. All right.
We
You
got
have-
we got a little off topic.
Yep. You have any other notes?
I
Regarding
do.
these
I have
episodes?
one thing
Yep.
I want to bring up.
Mhm.
In this episode, Yukihiro, the guy, the law student.
Yep.
There's a certain scene in this episode where he kind of, that reflective glasses pose
Yep.
in anime, where a character's glasses will like, get a whole bunch of shine over them,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like they're plotting something or planning something.
Yep.
In this show, we get a scene like that from him, indicating that he's going to try to like sabotage Haiji. He's going to try to throw a wrench into his plans and stop everything that's happening. But that actually does not happen, which I thought was a little strange.
That might happen in the next episode now, because
Maybe.
he and Musha, the
black guy,
the African guy.
Sure, yeah.
You being racist.
Oh, okay.
they was planting something against going with the flow. So I hope they do a bit of building up that conflict.
Yeah, I think they will. I don't think it's over between Yukihiro and Haiji, because he's like the number one member of the opposition, I guess.
Yep.
Yukihiro and
the resistance.
right. Yeah, I just thought it was strange for them to include that specific like very kind of recognizable anime trope, and then not follow up on it in this episode. I think the episode was great, but that did strike me as strange.
Yep. All right, so let's see if the next episode they're gonna address that, because I think pretty much like all the other issues like we have been resolved. So like Kekeru personal issues have been somewhat resolved after the episodes.
I really don't think
somewhat.
so. I think, I mean, I would hesitate to like venture into that territory at all. I don't think that we've seen nearly the last of his personal struggle.
No. Yeah, I know, because it's gonna be like the whole season's worth of of struggle. It's like one of the main characters act in the series. But at least for now, I think like all of his like temporary issues have been resolved. at least for now. Like he have a clearer mind now.
Hopefully so. Yeah.
Hopefully so. And that speech from Prince, like I think pretty much it's not like closing his act, but pretty much like shed a light into his act.
Yeah.
So
It kind of brings him on board with everybody else for the time being.
yeah, that's right. That's what I mean. So
Yeah.
so we only got like Yuki's and Musa, whatever their scheme is, whatever they plotting to do against Haichi's.
Yeah.
We'll have to see about that.
All right.
All right.
What's next?
All right, let's just do Orosuku.
Irozuku Sakai no Ashitakara.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the first appearance of Kohaku.
Yeah, she
The
was
gran-
immediately
the granny.
my favorite character within like 2 minutes.
Yep. She's so good. She bring like another energy into the shows.
Yeah, she brings energy, period, because it was a little lacking in energy before this.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, I agree. So like even like her magic, the magic scenes in the classroom, it's pretty amazing. It's pretty good, and she end up.
It's all right. Go ahead.
Yeah, and she end up like making a mess again, which is
yeah.
like another running gag of the show, which I really find that funny.
Yeah, me too.
And the way that she tried to bribe, in brackets, she tried to bribe the teachers of her present, and they just said like no.
Yeah, I don't need it.
Yeah, I don't need it. That was pretty good.
Yeah, she's certainly a very funny character, and a very enthusiastic, very passionate character.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody who seems to understand Hitomi pretty well, which is important for the show because Hitomi is like kind of a closed character, just by design. Closed. She's kind of closed off.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, that's not by design because he just can't feel anything.
Right.
Basically, yep.
Which is why it's important that that Kohaku is able to figure out what she's thinking and communicate with her and all that.
And Kohaku, she just like feel right at home with like everyone in the.
Well, it is her home.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's right. but it is the first time that she met those people, though.
I don't think that's true. Because they were classmates, right? Remember, she comes back and she has the souvenirs for all of her classmates. And,
yeah. Right.
At the very least, Asagi, who is also in Hitomi's class, would have known her.
Yep.
But I think everybody else knew her too.
Yep. Right. But let's say it feels so natural, like with all the people, and she fit into these people, this character, and she fit into the show itself. So that's why I feel like she's like a great addition into the show, and the show it makes the show a lot more enjoyable now.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's why I regard this episode is like one of my favorite episodes of Irosuku because of her, simply because of her.
I'd say episode 1 is still my favorite, just for the last couple minutes.
For the last couple minutes. Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah.
We see a glimpse of that in this episode, though.
See, that's the thing where I started to interrupt you earlier, and then I was like, no, go ahead. I don't think we really do see a glimpse of. Well, you're just talking about like the little fish that swims around in his tablet and kind of breaks the surface and then goes back in. I guess if that's what you mean by glimpse, then we do. But both instances of like magic coming to life in this episode, the first being Kohaku kind of transporting them to the school that she visited in England, where she was like a student abroad.
Yep.
And so that was the first, and then the second was the one where they like put the train in the night sky.
Yep.
Both of those, like, those scenes are fine, but they just can't hold a candle to
To the first one.
Aoi's painting coming alive in the first episode. Yeah, or his
I,
drawing coming to life.
I think it. I think they do that by design though. So like it doesn't supposed to be like uh overwhelming. It doesn't. It just supposed to be like very understated.
Mm.
I think they sell. What I mean is I think they sell the big moments for the right time. So like in the next few episodes when it's come to like one of the most emotional scenes, they will go all out with that, but not right now.
Yeah, I suppose. Although I feel like they could afford to go a little bit more all out. Like in this episode, for example, when they're on the roof at night because they've gone to photograph the night skyline in monochrome or whatever their project is.
Oh, it's just Hitomi and Show who do the monochrome. Everyone else they do apps with colors.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So what? But like when the whole group goes to the school and they're all up on the roof.
Yeah.
And Hitomi admits that she's a time traveler from the future.
Yeah,
I think that is a pretty big moment. So everyone accepting her in the wake of that confession, and her kind of finding a home here, 60 years in the past, with these friends that she probably never imagined she'd be able to make.
Yep.
I'd say that is a gigantic deal.
Yep.
And deserved a little bit more than just a train, them like flicking a train into the sky using magic Pocky sticks. And then when we actually get the shot, the camera shot of the train up in amongst the stars, it's just 2 frames. It kind of like jerks back and forth like this.
Yep.
Like it's some kid's animation. It deserved more.
Well, it's actually charming to me that train.
I think I agree. But nevertheless, I would have liked to see more than that.
Yeah. I see a point because they can make it these scenes more emotional because it's like one of the more important scenes that we've seen so far.
Yeah.
But
honestly, it might be one of the most important moments of Hitomi's life so far.
Yeah. When you put it that way, I kind of agree on that. But yeah, I don't feel disappointed or anything when they do it this way. So it still does its job for me.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
How about the first magic scene with the train? It turns out that Hitomi's magic actually summons that train that breaks through Kohaku's illusion.
Yeah.
And in the classroom when she takes everybody. I was how'd you feel about that?
How I feel about that? It's good.
I
like it. I like the scene.
Okay.
Yes. All right. So how do you feel about that?
I mean, I didn't bring that question up just so that I could get my own opinion.
Yeah. All right.
About it. I was curious to see if you the same way that you found the scene at the end was adequate. If you felt the same about the first one.
All right. I like it. I like it enough. I don't feel it's like mind blowing or anything, but I like it enough.
The question that I have is how did it work? Just physically, how did the illusion how was Hitomi able to summon a train? Well, first of all, Kohaku, that was an illusion. They obviously did not go to England.
Yep.
Because of the way that the scene kind of the scenery, the English scenery, kind of spreads out across the classroom.
It feels like they are in the VR virtual reality.
Yeah. So that being the case, why was Hitomi able to summon a train that actually created soot that when the door to the classroom was opened went out into the hallway, which was not part of the illusion? Because the smoke from the train is actually physically real. I don't understand that.
All right, don't ask me about magic stuff. I'm just a smuggler, a normal person.
You're just a muggle.
Yeah, I'm just a what they call the blood, the dirty blood or something.
Oh, Mudblood.
Mud blood.
No, see, Mudblood. That's if you actually are magical, but you have some
Oh,
Muggle blood in you.
all right. So I'm just a muggle.
Yeah, you're a Muggle. I'm a Ravenclaw, so I'm a practicing magician. That's why I have some issues with the portrayal of magic in this series.
All right. I don't think it break any like realism for me. it well.
That's because it's not realistic to begin with. But I mean,
yeah,
that's
right.
that's okay. That's fine. It is magic. You can just pretty much make whatever rules you want. It's the same for time travel, which coincidentally this show also has. You just create whatever rules you feel like.
Yes. So yeah, so far I have no concerns whatsoever with the magic portrayed in the show. I do have something a bit, like I feel that the time travel aspect is a bit underdeveloped. It's just meant to be, like a premise to bring her back to time. They don't have any real, like exploration into that time travel.
Yeah, it's not Steins Gate.
Which I'm glad, because I don't need any like scientific explanation for that in this kind of show.
Yeah, it was just to set up her going back in time and learning to, find color in her world, metaphorically speaking, and perhaps literally too.
All right, one thing that I want to ask you though. So, what do you think about the chemistry between Aoi and Hitomi and Kohaku?
It's
So the
interesting
three
that
of
you'd
them.
ask me that question, because I think the show pushed the club president and Hitomi a lot harder in this episode.
Yeah, that's I want to address as well.
And
Yes.
Asagi was in 3 separate scenes that I took notes on. She is like, she's the odd woman out, because I think she has a crush on the club president.
That pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah,
As for go ahead.
Yeah, I think for the next few episodes, we're gonna see how show the presidents of the photography will pursue Hitomi. I don't really know if he have any kind of romantic interest in her.
This is a PA Works show.
So yes.
He probably does.
So yeah, they're gonna address that, and you know the answer. We all know the answer. I in fact, I don't really want the show to go that route, but being the PA work shows, it has to happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think for the next few episodes we're gonna see that. So more about romantic being drama.
Yeah, we'll get there eventually. And I think that if the show can pull it off, I think it's fine. It all just comes down to scripting and direction and execution.
All right. Hopefully they're gonna do it justice. How about Aoi and Kohaku? Because for now it's like the lack of interest between them. So like they feel awkward because they just met each other, which is kind of right. But I think Aoi developed some kind of interest into Hitomi as well, because he refused to call her by her first name.
Right.
He too
Yeah,
shy to call her by her first name. That's what I
calling
want to
people
put
by
it.
their first name is a big deal in Japan.
Yeah.
I actually didn't
Huh.
read too much into that scene.
All right.
Because I kind of feel as though you thought this might be the case after episode 1. I kind of agree at this point. I think that Aoi and Kohaku are probably the. Oh wait, no, we disproved this you brought this up in the
No.
last episode.
Yeah.
It can't Aoi can't be the grandfather because of his
No.
name. Like
No,
Hitomi would know
yeah.
his name.
That's
yeah,
right. That's right.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe Aoi and Hitomi will be a thing. I don't really care, honestly. Like, I'm not invested in the romance even one bit.
All right.
At least not yet.
All right. That's good of you, because there are a lot of like potential pairing for this show, especially Kurumi and Chigusha.
Right.
The
That's the
the
glasses girl and the playboy, right?
the playboy.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
So yeah, I think that pair is pretty much confirmed for now. Uh, one last note is that I think there's like a moment of Kohaku that I think is kind of off her characters. Like
What's that?
she pretty consistent from start to finish, but that one show when she asked Hitomi who would be her husband, her future husband.
I don't think that's out of character for somebody.
She just the way she acts. She's shy. She like she act like a kid. It just doesn't fit to her image.
Well, would you expect that? How old is this girl? They're all in high school, right?
Yeah, there is 15, 16, 16.
Yeah, so they're 16 or something like that. Would you expect her to be like, "So, who's my husband? Tell me. I want to
Yeah,
know."
I think that would be more consistent with her character than this.
You might be right. I just kind of treated it as normal because that's what anime likes to do with
Mm.
teenage girls, like make them all like shy and reserved about romance and stuff like that. Like they're all pure maidens.
Uh,
So I just kind of didn't think about it, but yeah, it doesn't seem to be very much like her now that you mention it.
uh.
Um,
But apart from that, she my favorite character. She might be my favorite character on the fall show that we watch.
of all the
So
fall shows,
all the fall show that we cover, yes.
nah, man, Prince all the way.
Oh no, she's my queen. You can have your prince. She's my queen.
Oh, very very well put, sir. Well done.
All right. Do you have any other notes on the shows?
Nope.
All right. So let's get to the last shows of this current seasons, which is Zombieland Saga. So Wooper, what do you think about the episode 4 of Zombieland Saga?
I thought it was fine.
All right.
I didn't think it was great. I didn't think there was a single thing about it that was particularly noteworthy.
All right.
I was a little bit bored.
All right. Because I think it's getting worse. So like for the first 2 episodes of Zombie Saga, it's funny because it's like it takes a satire from the idol aspect and mixing up that with like them being zombies. So like we have like a spooky feeling up on top of that. But
Kind of.
yeah, but for the last 2 episodes, episode 3 and 4, they just like go exactly into the thing that they been satire. So they become like a idol show with zombie girls.
Well, you say that the first 2 episodes there was kind of like a spooky element to them,
Yep.
but this episode definitely had a spooky element. Think
Yep.
about
Yeah. Yeah.
the onsen scene, the hot spring, and
Mhm.
then the scene in the hallway with the woman who works for that company,
Yep.
that pharmaceutical company, running through the hallway and seeing all the girls and
Yeah, I agree. That's like one of these my favorite part out of these episodes.
huh.
Mm.
Okay, for me, it was my least favorite
All right.
because it completely, like, it's. I guess it's a bit of a send up of the horror genre, kind of a jab at it, but
Yep.
to me, I think that the show would work a lot better if it actually managed to have its cake and eat it too, with regards to the idol thing and the horror thing. If the
Mhm.
show actually managed to be scary in one moment and then flip it 180 and then have the girls be, bonding and stuff over idol songs, I
Yep.
think that would be pretty amusing if it managed to juggle those two atmospheres. But
Yep.
instead, I feel like the horror segment of this episode had no teeth whatsoever.
Yeah, it's supposed to be more of a comedy than the horrors.
But I didn't even think it was funny.
Mm. Mm. Yep. All right.
Because it was just her running around screaming. Like I don't know. I didn't feel I didn't feel as though it was particularly well set up either. The whole thing with the back patches granting the girls like flexibility and energy. I don't
Yep.
see how that really ties into. I mean, the only way in which those back patches were significant to the horror bit at the end was that one of them was covering up Sakura's face, or her head in the water. But apart from that, there didn't seem to be like a strong link between the two scenes. I don't know. I just was not feeling it at all.
Mhm. Well, for the episode itself, what they doing exactly? So they were dancing in front of the onsen people, people in the hot springs.
I think that there's some sort of work retreat at that hot spring, and
Oh,
that
right.
the like the employees perhaps of the pharmaceutical company are there at the onsen
Yep.
as part of like a retreat or an event or something.
Yeah, I feel like the show go pretty much into the idol aspect, which I don't feel. I just don't feel it. I have like other shows like Love Life Sunshine, The Idol Master for that matters. Not for this case, I want more of the edgy, the zombie, the horror, everything, anything. Not like the typical idol stuff. And then they even like reverse back to the CG dance as well, from which is really stand out in a bad way.
I thought it was a little better this week.
A little better, but still stand out in a bad way.
Yeah, I think they figured out how how to animate the geisha girl a little better, rather than it just looking like she has two volleyballs under her shirt. They might have like adjusted her character model a little bit between the production of episodes 3 and 4, because that was distracting the hell out of me last week.
All right.
I don't know. I thought in general it looked a little nicer.
All right.
But and I do feel as though it's like good to be tolerant of that sort of thing, because that's just a fact of how anime works now. It's always been about cost-cutting measures, so this kind of thing is going to... I mean, hopefully CG will get better and better, and it will become less and less glaring. But for the time being, that's just what we have to get through until that breakthrough happens in the industry.
And I think it's like it's like a product of the time. So like in 5 years, 10 years time, we don't get to see those anymore. So it's
What do you
some
mean? Get to see what anymore?
The awkward CG dance.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean like it might be something that we need to treasure more. Because it might be something that we don't get to see 5 years from now on.
Yeah, that's right. We we got to appreciate Zombieland Saga for its place in history.
All right. So basically, my point is Zombieland Saga is still enjoyable. So I still enjoy it. I still like the chemistry between the girls. I still find the manager guy Kotaro annoying. The hell out of me. The only thing is like I expect more. I expect very much more from the show than this. So so for the last 2 episodes, I feel kind of disappointed. But in total, it's still like it's still one of the better shows.
I definitely don't agree with that.
One of the more enjoyable show out of the seasons.
For me, of these 4 shows that we're watching, it's my least favorite.
Yeah, well, it's my least favorite as well, but I still don't. It's still not to the point that I want to drop it. I want to stop covering it.
Yeah, I haven't reached that point yet either, because I think that the show's DNA, its premise is that, and that alone will get me through another few episodes of like mediocrity or badness.
Yeah.
But definitely feeling a little cold on it right now.
Yeah. Well, I expect it more like the first few minutes of the of the premiere. You know, like where like just a snap, like everything just throw at you at this at the top speed.
Well,
I
there's
like, yep, I like that. I want to see more from that.
the idea, like her dying and becoming a zombie and stuff. Of course, that's all thrown at us really quickly because that's the show. You know, like
Yep.
it has to kill her off and it has to make her a zombie real quick and then all that. So I don't think we're gonna get anything like that ever again.
All right.
But with that being said, I do think that there's some potential for like a larger story. The show keeps hinting at it.
Mhm.
You know, you remember the scene where they're all like taking the foot bath,
Yep.
they're putting their legs in the thing.
Uh-huh.
They all start talking to themselves about how they became zombies, and one of them points out that they were like when they died, they would have been cremated.
Yep.
So how do they even have bodies?
Yep.
It's kind of obvious that they've been stitched together. Some of them have like different skin tones and stuff. But the process by which they were all assembled and put back together and stuff, and for what reason, you know, like the manager being some sort of overarching like puppet master kind of guy.
Yep.
I think that the show keeps poking at that, and we might eventually get a bigger story out of it.
That's right, and we don't even know what Saga mean.
Oh, isn't Saga the name of the place where they're from, like the town that he's trying to revive?
Or maybe because he just keeps saying like to revive the Saga. So I have
Yeah, I think that's a prefecture in Japan.
All right. All right. Yep. So yeah, hopefully they will get into that soon, because I pretty much prefer either they go deeper into, you know, like all the premise, because they have a lot and they still have a lot of potential from that, or they do it more like slapstick, do it more like, you know, like quicker, more punch than, you know, like just a punch of girl sitting into the hot spring, talking to each other, feeling the accomplishment of, you know, being in the teammate. I just see that way too often in anime. I don't want to see that here.
Well, I mean, I hope you get your wish, but that does seem to be anime's thing. So we'll see whether the show breaks that trend.
Right. Yeah. Apart from that, also like on these characters, on the zombie girl in this episode doesn't particularly feel more fleshed out than previous episodes.
Fleshed out.
Yeah, that's intentional. Only like the one girl, I think her name is Chunko, get a bit
the
more
silver-haired girl.
Yeah, get a bit more development, but I
does
want
she
to
really?
see more.
All she does is like say, "I want to go to the hot springs."
Yeah, she kind of shy. So we know more about her. We know that she wants to go to the hot spring.
Yeah, that's what we know.
So that's a bit of the development from her.
If you say so.
So yeah, so I want to see more of them. I want to see more different sides of them.
Well, the way that the show accomplishes that seems to be by doubling down on the idol thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're all comrades in this idol business, and they got to learn about each other and work together and become best friends. So if you want to see their characters' development, then the idol parts that you don't like so much are the primary vehicle for that.
Huh.
So you may be between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah. Well, I pretty much take it as it comes. So
yeah.
Yep. All right.
That's what you got to do when you watch anime, because sometimes some really messed up or stupid stuff happens, and all you can do is just roll with the punches, man.
Yeah, right. Well, that's all I have to say about the show for now. Do you have any other? All right.
That's it.
All right, so we can get into Lain this week, because the last 2 episodes of Lain have been very informative.
Yes, they have.
So, yeah, Wooper, tell me what you think about the last.
No,
2
you
episodes.
tell me, Mario. You tell me.
Well, it's a lot more clear now. It's a lot clearer now.
Clear is an interesting word to use when describing serial experiments, Lain.
Yeah, that's right. Because everything is like the feeling that you are in a fog. You can't see anything, but now we see like a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, kind of.
So we can make a guess of how they gonna what the direction they're gonna go in the last 3 episodes.
I can't.
Well, I don't.
I mean, you've seen the show before. I can't guess what direction it's going to go. I kind of felt after watching episode 10, like if the show were, let's say, made today and episode 10 happened, I would think to myself, okay, next episode's definitely the finale. There's no way they can get 3 more episodes of material out of this. But apparently that's the game plan.
Yep. So that's the game plan. So let's get into the details.
All right.
This last 2 episodes, we see like the real identity of Lain, or maybe not.
Right. Yeah, nice details.
Because it's all about how much you buy into how they explain Lain. Because
not only Lain but A.D. Masami.
A.D. Masami, is that the god?
Yes, that's the god.
Just write that his name A.D. Masadi.
Yeah, I think I'm going to call him Masami.
Masami, yep.
But yeah, his name is Eri Masami.
All right. Yep. And even like the nice.
Right. Yeah, those 3 characters: the businessman, the woman, like the housewife, or the mother, and that hacker guy who I picked up on in episode 7, maybe, or 8.
Yep.
They were indeed
nice.
significant to the story somehow. Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah, but I think I speculated that the businessman was like against the knights.
Yep.
I don't even really remember what I said. And I think you were correct about the woman being like his secretary, also being the housewife, and just that being like her avatar in The Wired. Because we see that she gets murdered through her computer.
Well, I like after watching this episodes, I actually have double doubt that as well. Remember, like there was another girl another secretary who opened the door and realized that the scientist guy was dead.
Was that the same woman?
That's a question I wanna ask because I didn't check.
It seemed to me that it was the same woman.
Yeah, so that's.
But now you have me doubting myself.
Yeah, so I will double check on that.
Oh, you know what? I guess the secretary wouldn't have to be her because the reason she died was because she got that chip, probably in the mail, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Remember, she gets that chip with the Knights logo on it.
Uh-huh.
I think that's probably what kills her.
Mm.
Because in these same episodes, Lain, somebody attempts to erase Lain's memories or supplant them with different memories because she's given that chip at Siberia in episode 10 by the bartender or the DJ, whatever he is.
Mm-hmm.
So I think maybe that chip would have been a way to assassinate the housewife character, or perhaps not. I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
All right. I think the grip of what's going on is that Lain want to erase her existence. No, it's not really that as well. So let's start from the beginning because from the beginning of the episodes 9, 10, night, that Lain find herself not exist in the real world anymore. So like her house have been emptied.
That's episode 10 that happens.
All right, so like people like her parents acting very coldly and friendly. Her sister is like
her sister is out of her gourd.
Yeah, that's basically it. And even like when she get into school, like people don't see her anymore. Like her assistant completely gone.
Yeah, even her desk is gone, which makes the scene more metaphorical
Yep.
than literal, I think.
Mm.
Because if she were just invisible, her desk would still be there. But
Yep.
it's as though her existence is like vanishing. Yeah, or that's how she feels, and so that's represented in the classroom scene.
Yeah, I feel like the way that the show does that it's pretty good. It make you feel like she completely like aliens into like all of the environment surrounding her, and that's the only
Yeah.
thing that she tried the hardest into not becoming.
Yeah, she wants to keep a grip on who she is.
Yep.
Because she's like tormented by the thought, the idea that she might not be totally in control of herself, or that there might be two of her, or that she might not be real, or that there's another version of her who's, you know, like in The Wired, and she's struggling with all of that. So when she, you know, goes to school and comes home and finds that everything that she knows and everybody who she knows, they don't acknowledge her anymore, then she's understandably freaked out.
Yep. So that when she get into the Siberia, so that the sequence that you just talked about, she find out about the chips. She asked the kid.
Taro-kun.
And she found out that the knives have been manipulate her existence into like people mind in that Siberia.
Is that really what's going on?
Yeah, that's what I get. So that the chips that chip is supposed to be make her that chip is supposed to be manipulate the people inside that Siberia about the existence of the other land.
No, I thought that Lain said that if she included that chip in her computer, that her memories would be erased, that Lane's memories would be gone. Because doesn't she question Taro-kun, like, what would have happened if, you know, what would have happened if I had installed this? And then she kind of like sticks it in his mouth, like threatening him.
Yep. All right.
Yeah. I don't know. There's definitely something weird going on with Siberia.
Yep. We will have a look at that later.
Oh, so that's gonna come back up, huh?
And then she meet a god.
Yeah, she does. She does meet a god. It was really interesting, and I'm not sure that I really liked it.
Yeah.
All throughout episode 9, all the little bits of like real world research and information about like scientists and researchers and things who are studying the mysterious or the unexplained, kind of the supernatural,
and even aliens.
Yeah, and we even see an alien near the start of the episode wearing that red and green striped shirt.
Yep.
Which is a reference to something that Lain overhears in The Wired near the very start of the series. She hears a woman complaining that a kid in a red and green striped shirt has been standing in the doorway of her child, her child's room.
Yep.
So as I remember that very clearly from the first couple of episodes. So as soon as I saw that red and green striped shirt, I was like, "This is it. The show's going to explain itself. Like the grand mystery is going to be revealed." But then the alien just disappears.
Or maybe for the last 3 episodes they're gonna address that. They're gonna
the alien's the real bad guy.
So yes, she met the god, and what interesting is that like the first few minutes of the episode 10 is when they talk into each other, but like in the manner of they speaking each other's minds.
Right. Yeah, their consciousness is like switched or something.
Yeah. So
which I think is meant to represent the fact that Lain's split personality, Masami's consciousness is actually a part of her.
All right.
I think like the confident part of Lain's personality and the part of her with more attitude and who's a little more brash. I think that's supposed to be Masami.
All right. Wow, that's like one of the interesting take. For me, I take it as she had the same level of power with Masami. so that they are on the same, like they are on the same plane of on the same levels.
That's what I thought at first too, but
Hmm.
I think it makes more sense for Masami to actually be a part of her, and that's why she has that power, because
Mm.
he gives her that power because he's like her other half.
Mm.
Because she, at some point in the series, she gave herself over to the Wired so completely
Yep.
that he who had abandoned his body and entered the Wired. Perhaps he was able to hijack her consciousness
And
and
yep.
use her body to move around in the real world sometimes.
All right.
But like contradictory to that, he says like Lain never existed. You were born in the Wired,
Yep.
and the version of you that everyone knows here in the real world is like a hologram or something. I kind of
Mm.
feel as though he's lying, but
Is
I
it
don't know.
is it make sense? Because it does make sense to me that the way he explained that Lane is like the product of the wire, and so
But he specifically says that she was born there.
she was born there. So yeah, is
Yeah,
it make
I wonder
it?
how someone can be born in the Wired.
Oh, have you watched God in the Shell?
Ghost in the Shell?
Yeah,
Sure.
that's the same basic actually. Remember the ultimate guy? He actually like a programming of like all these consciousness that he become a personality himself.
You're talking about the Puppet Master
The
from the
puppet.
1995
Yeah,
film.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay.
So I think
Um,
I think Len is like from what he explained. I think Len is like that as well. So
maybe.
she was born because of the all the advance of the wire. So that she have the consciousness by herself, and that
Right.
she want to make one in real life.
She wants to make what in real life?
Yeah, so she want to because she's just a product of a wire, and she want to make she want to pretend to be a real people. That's what the real lane on the real life. It's not the real lane. It's the hologram lane on the real life.
What? I'm lost. So you think that she actually is a hologram in the real world? That's a hologram?
Yeah, well, I just say that his theory, the way that he say make sense to me.
It makes sense to you.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I right now I think that he's a liar.
Mm. Well.
I don't think that Lain. I mean, maybe she was born in the Wired. Like Lain might just be the manifestation, like the physical embodiment of everyone's kind of personality in the Wired, like online.
Yep.
Just all their desires and all their thoughts and their ideas and things. Like all those all that data could take shape in Lain.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Because he does mention that I mean through Lane's mouth, because at the start of episode 10, like you said, they seem to be speaking for one another as though their consciousnesses are swapped or linked or something.
Yep.
He's so Lane through Lane's mouth he says, I caused the protocol that governed the Wired to evolve. He somehow changed the Wired, like the coding of the entire thing, so that it would like interact with the real world.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And Lain is the proof of that.
Yep.
But I kind of like the theory that he is the other half of her consciousness.
Yep. That credible as well. So I think that does make sense as well.
Because we see her personality, like I think for the first time we actually see her personality shift. Maybe we saw it in one of the last two episodes, but in episode 9 when she's in Siberia,
Yep.
and she's at that table with the 3 kids, including Taro-kun, he says, "You're not the Lain who I'm interested in," and then we actually see her personality shift. So either she does have a split personality, or there's somebody else in there, and if it's anybody, it's probably Masami.
All right. this is like one of the very rare show that like we have the introduction of a character of Masami like in the end of its runs. So like it's in episode 9 that we know about his existence, and then the next 2 episodes, the next 2 minutes, that like he basically just appear and become like one of the important uh player in the game, and I
Yeah.
completely buy it.
Yeah, I thought it worked really well.
Yeah.
Due to all the little real world snippets all throughout episode 9,
Mm.
because it was very intriguing the way that the show. I assumed that most of those people, like mostly American scientists, were actually real.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
I did check on the name of the producers, and what I come up is the because he was involved with one of the file that they were mentioned in Lain as well. So that was real. Even
right.
though the producer isn't necessarily real, but he was like associated with that paper. So
Okay.
yes, so like all of these that they mentioned was like they was in real life.
Right. But the at the very end, when the show uses one of those segments to start talking about Tachibana General Labs
Mhm.
and Masami or Masami,
Yep.
it kind of creates an alternate reality for itself by linking its mythology to things that have happened in real life in the past.
Hmm.
So the way that it did that made his introduction at this late stage in the game more believable, I think.
Yep. Right.
Although
Right.
it did really mess with the structure of episode 9. Like when I started watching it, I was like, oh, this is not gonna work. This is not gonna work out. But I ended up being wrong about that.
Well, talking about Lens, like they did try to do different stuff in every single episodes, and more often than not, it's work. Like it worked for me for the last 10 episodes. It for you it doesn't work for a few episodes.
Yeah, there was one that I really, really did not like. I can't remember which one it was. It was either
That
5 or 6, I
that
think.
that was the one that Lens sister like literally spirited away.
Ah, yes. Yeah, I didn't like that whole
Yeah, I love that
not just
actually.
the ending, but the whole thing. I was like, eh.
I love that.
Yeah.
So, talking about the knives, I find that very intriguing. That like the way Lens frame those knives, so that they are just like like the believers. They are like the worshipper to worship a god. So that's like their role, their real role in the war. So I find that pretty interesting
I'm
because
still I'm not sure where you're getting at. I'm still
all right,
pretty lost as to what the knight's true motivation is, because Taro Kun talks about
all right, because
them like fighting for truth and stuff.
all right. So what basically what I get about the role of the knights, the real role of them, is that Mashami, he's wanted to be a god. He wanted to be because of the he wanted to be a god because he rewrite the code so that in every one consciousness in the world they will have the data of him. So basically, like he doesn't exist anywhere, but he exists everywhere. Is that
Um,
make sense to you right now?
kind of,
Yeah. So
because his in the wire he says during that scene at the start of episode 10 when he and Lain are talking in the street, he
yeah.
says that like kind of embedded in the wired are all of his memories and all of his
Mhm.
his personality and who he is. That's all
Yep.
part of the wired now.
Yep. That's right. So that basically like he put his data into like all of the people when they get in the wild, so that he know everything, so that he have the information of everyone, so that become like he's like he know all the information, so that make him a god.
But what does that have to do with the knights?
Because he is a god, he needs someone to worship him to truly
Right.
become a god. So that's why he influenced some of these people into like be believing him and worshiping him. So that was the nice.
But what about all the stuff that was going on with like the hacker guy, for
Or
example, who
yeah, so
died because he had a flashlight put down his throat or
so
something?
he been manipulate them into like control the why into the way that he want. So
Yeah, exactly. Like what did he
yeah
want? What was he trying to accomplish and manipulate
he
them to do?
all right. So he want to merge the wild world into the real world. So like he want to blur the distinction between the wild and the real world. So I think that were his missions, and the knights carrying it out for him. So what happened to the knight is Lain, she want to she just basically spill out all the names.
Yeah, I was confused by that because we don't actually see her do it. The
Yeah,
names just show up on the internet
yeah.
or the Wired.
I think she's the one who doing that
Yeah, I
because
think the show implies that as well, but we just don't see it.
for for whatever reasons, I don't really know for sure. She just want the truth. She for sure she doesn't want them to die. But because of these but the men in black, the whole like their job, their whole mission is just to find out about the knights and to kill them. So as soon as they know the real identity of those guys, they come in and kill them.
That's
But
what I don't understand.
yeah,
Don't they work for the businessman?
yeah, I think they do work for the businessman, and the businessman who have the fraction with the knights like few years ago, like what we suspected. So like they basically I think they know about Masami as well, but he know about Masami as well, but like they clash up their mutual interest. So that's why that guy he goes out.
Yeah, I don't get that because they were working for him. They brought Lain to that room where he was
Yep.
alone with his computer and she helped him set it up and stuff. And he expressly said like we don't want the Wired and the real world to merge.
Yeah. So that
So
basically
I guess he's an ex-member of Knights,
yeah.
but
So
his name still got published and so he got killed.
is that him who got killed? No,
Yeah.
sure.
The
All
same
right.
businessman who Lain goes and sees in episode 8, the Men in Black take her there and they work for him.
All right.
He's the same guy who gets murdered by the Men in Black. They put that gun to his neck and inject that liquid in there.
Is that guy though? I think that's the different guy. Uh,
What? No, I mean it's the same. I'm pretty darn sure it's the same guy.
all right.
That's
Yeah.
why that's why I'm so confused because they apparently they didn't know that he used to be a member of the Knights, and so when Lain published
Or
that information about him having been a past member, which I
yeah.
think you can infer based on him being in the photograph that the dude
All
the dude
right.
who's like wandering through the city with the VR set, he sees that photograph of the three of them together. So
Yep.
they probably like met in college and maybe they all joined the Knights at that time. So
Mhm.
then let's say he breaks off from the Knights when he gets a little older, and so the Men in Black are working for him. But then when that information gets published, they turn on him.
All right.
I think that's what happened.
All right, because I think that they are two different guys. Because the guy that Len was talking about was pretty much older. See, he's like in his 50s, 60s. The guy, the scientist guy who got killed is like he was in the 40s.
He's not a scientist, is he? Isn't he a businessman?
Oh, I mean the businessman.
Yeah, I'm not sure that you're right about that.
Yeah.
I kind of want to pull up the episode right now. Yeah, I found both screenshots. I found the
Oh,
one where she's talking to the guy.
yep.
It's episode 7.
Good.
And I found the one, I've got a picture of the businessman scientist guy who dies in episode 10.
Yep. All right. So
And here they are.
and I'm looking for the guy who was killed.
Yeah, I just sent you
Right.
pictures of the two of them. They do look kind of different. Like have the pictures shown up for you?
Yeah, it does.
They do look kind of different. The guy from episode 7 who talks to Lain in the office, his hair is he appears to have a little bit less hair and it's a little more gray. Yeah, so what picture did you just send me there?
That's the one where he saw his secretary.
Okay. Yeah, I guess they are different people.
So if they are, because if they are different people, that make more sense. That like he would not kill, and not the old man.
Right. Yeah. Wait. So that okay. Cool. But if that's the case, are we ever going to see the old guy again?
I have no idea. Maybe the last 3 episodes we're gonna see him more often.
Maybe. Well, you're laughing, so you would know the answer.
No, because I know for a show like Lain, it's like a wishful thinking. You never know for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure. The only thing that's for sure is that you don't know what's for sure.
That's right. The oh, do you want me to get back to the postcard now?
Yeah.
Alright, because the one bit that I still confused about the knives and the way they were killed is that some of them they were killed physically in the real life, like the businessman. So you see like the man in black actually like inject some liquid into him.
Right.
But for others like the hacker man or the woman, she died like in front of the screen. So I would assume that they die in the war, but we don't know that for sure either.
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable assumption. Although I'm not totally clear on the cause of death for the hacker guy. It kind of looked to me like he had something stuffed down his throat.
Yeah, something some kind of light or something.
Yeah, I was thinking it was a flashlight, but the illuminated
How?
part is like
Yeah.
super bright and pointed upwards.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is.
that's sure like stunning. if even though we don't know exactly how he died, we know pretty sure that he's dead. This guy dead.
Yeah, and that it probably wasn't very pleasant.
No. So yeah, so I think this episodes they the show just go much deeper into the it's like whatever it's trying to do, it just like make the whole thing pretty much clearer, but at the same time we still don't know for sure who's Lain is, because your theory makes sense to me.
That
And
Masami is like part of her.
yeah, Masumi is part of her. Make sense, make a lot of sense. And my theory about her being like the product of the wire makes sense. It's not even my theory. It's like what Masumi said.
Right.
So yeah, I think for the next 3 episodes we're gonna see the last 3 episodes. We're gonna see how it evolved.
I mean I think it would be optimistic of me to expect that it's actually going to wrap up like the whole story.
It's gonna wrap up the whole story. Yes.
I'm not really expecting it to wrap up the story in a traditional manner.
Oh.
With like,
You
Lain beating all the bad guys and
like for
whatever.
the first 2 episodes, we for the first 2 minutes of the premiere of Lain, we already know for sure that this is not a traditional show. So
I don't remember what happens in the first 2 minutes.
No, I don't remember either. But just my point is that so it's just too far away from a traditional mean. It doesn't have traditional storytelling. It just doesn't have traditional, like visual storytelling. It doesn't have like traditional characters writing. It just in a whole completely off.
Yeah, it's definitely off.
But yeah, that one of the reason why I love this show so much, because it just feels so different from others anime show in the medium or in any medium that I saw.
Yeah, it's it's definitely concerned with being different, and I think sometimes that
Mm-hmm.
works to its disadvantage.
Yep.
Because you're just treating it as a giant puzzle, and you're trying to figure out what it means instead of getting attached to the characters and swept up in the story and all that. But I mean, that's not what the show's trying to do.
That
I don't think.
Yep. That's I completely agree, because like as we just taking like 2 episodes at a time, and there are still some of the moment that we don't know for sure even now what has happening, and to think it back, like the role of the knight is really like underwritten. So like
Yes, I definitely agree.
everything they just show like just a facade, just like a like two like it they just show the surface, and we have to dig deeper, like we have to dwell within ourselves to know what their role is really is, and all those kind of stuff. And like sometimes we get a feeling that it doesn't worth it, because like the amount of screen time of the nights are pretty limited.
Although there are plenty of mentions of them.
Yeah, there are plenty of mention, but it's like urban legends. Some of them are true, some of them are not.
Yeah. I think that if you went back and you like recorded every instance of the knights being depicted on screen or being mentioned or just anything having to do with the knights, you could probably find
Makes
some
sense.
patterns in there and
Yeah,
extrapolate a deeper story from it.
that's right. But my next point is that is it worth the effort to do that?
Well, it depends. It just depends on how much you like Lain, like whether it's your cup of tea or not, and how much you like it. For people who really like it, it might be worth it.
Yeah, so for people like who like it like me, it's like I would say like 5-10% of the whole people who watch it. Like the other 90% who they just find it too weird, too
I don't know
much.
about that. I don't know if that's true. I mean,
Hopefully
you
it's
would
not.
probably just look up its score on like an aggregator site or something, and that would give you an example of out of 100 or 1,000 people, how many people like it. You just look
uh,
at the number.
yeah, I never check up. I never check those sides though actually.
Oh, see, I'm obsessed with updating my anime list because I don't know,
Well,
obsessive.
for the old show, I might take that as like a recommendation. But the way I find out is that my view, my taste, and the public opinion as not the same.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't think mine's the same as public opinion either.
So
But
that the score doesn't really matter to me.
well, sure, but what we're talking about is whether people like appreciate it or whether people are confused by it. I think that a
They both.
score on an aggregator site would be probably a reliable indicator of that.
Yep. Right. So yes, what do you think about this? In the end, what do you think about these 2 episodes of Lanes?
They're cool, man. I like them. I think Masami is really is a very interesting character. He's a very threatening character.
Oh,
He seems to be very powerful,
yep.
and I think it's kind of cool that the show has created an antagonist
Yep.
for itself at this late stage, and it's still effective. And
All
that
right.
Lane's conflict, like her inner conflict,
Mm-hmm.
is becoming more and more pronounced, and I think that ties in with Masami's presence as well. So
Mm-hmm.
I think everything's moving in a good direction.
All right. Because I think one thing I want to say to you is that the next 3 episodes, the last 3 episodes, gonna surprise you.
I would be surprised if they didn't surprise me.
All right. So yeah, you be in for a surprise anyway.
Right. So that'll be episodes 11 to 13.
Yeah. So they're gonna be the last covering of Lays next week.
Yep.
So tune in to hear what we thought about the last 3 episodes and final impressions of the show. And next week we're gonna tell you which classic show we're gonna take as well.
Yeah, we still have to decide that. But like I said before, I think all 3 picks are pretty good. So
Yep. Mm-hmm.
well, y'all will be in for a treat either way.
Yeah, that's right. So yep, that's the end of the postcard this week. You have any closing thought, Wooper?
Nope, my brain is fried from trying to understand Lain and whether that guy in the business suit was the same as the other guy with the different colored hair. I have no more words.
We have a lot to look back on the show as well, just to figure out what been happening. But have you tried to follow up with Bunny Girl Senpai?
Are we like tacking this on to the end of the podcast?
Yeah, yep. Just
Okay.
because.
Yeah, I've seen 3 episodes and it's okay.
All right.
I'm not really in love with it. It's such a product, man. Like
All right.
there are a bunch of anime like this.
All right, guys. Don't listen to Wooper. Just what it shows. It's one of the better light novel adaptation out there. If have been compared to Monogatari and Oregairu, my romantic comedy would Snafu. What does full name of that? My romantic comedy wouldn't be that.
My romantic comedy is wrong. My youthful romantic comedy is wrong as expected.
Thank you, Wooper.
Something like that.
Yeah, thank you, Wooper. So
you're welcome.
Those 2 happen to be my favorite shows. So this one is like the lesser one, but it's still worth the watch. So watch it.
What a surprise that if you like those, you would like this one. Gasp.
So watch it as well. And Gridman is good. Okay, I'm done.
All right, bye everybody. We'll see you next week.
See you next week. Thank you.